Right now at 10, a messy situation on Missouri 249 in East Joplin causes a multi-vehicle crash. Plus, we're taking you to the Pink Chute Archery Tournament in Carl Junction. Also, if you're interested in becoming a beekeeper, class in Columbus is aiming to get you started. And speaking of classes, who wouldn't want to make their own soap? We'll take you to a soap making class in Riverton.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for staying up late with us tonight. I'm Chris Warner. A Miami man is in police custody following a car chase, and police say there were multiple shots fired. Now, authorities say they got a call around 8 this morning saying that 2 vehicles were chasing each other and a person in one car was shooting at the other car. The 2 eventually stopped and one person got out of a car and began shooting at the other car again. Officers later located that car that the shots had been fired from. They discovered 2 men in the car and took 1 into custody. That investigation is still underway. Emergency crews responded to a report of multiple vehicles off the road on the east side of Joplin. Now, what you're seeing behind me here is dash cam video from Caleb Bratcher. Now, he tells us that he was approaching the scene unaware as to what was going on. And here's what happened. Just before 5 this evening, Missouri State Highway Patrol Trooper Joe Drum says 6 vehicles crashed along Missouri 249 North at the Zora exit. The reason for the crash? Thousands of pounds of manure scattered across the highway. Officials say the cow manure was very slick, leading to the crashes. 1 vehicle overturned. Thankfully, there were no injuries. Multiple agencies did respond to assist the Dunnaweg Fire Department. A powerful storm system with wind gusts near hurricane force pounded the Northeast on Saturday. Forecasters are warning of possibly worsening conditions and bitter cold. CBS News correspondent Wendy Gillette reports from Riverhead, New York.
The snowstorm turned New York's Central Park into a winter wonderland. But from the mid-Atlantic states up to Maine and beyond, the snow, high winds, and storm surge brought towns and cities to a virtual standstill while putting Mother Nature's beauty on full display. In the coastal town of Scituate, Massachusetts, streets began flooding in the early hours of the nor'easter. Residents were advised to evacuate, though many remain. On Long Island in New York, the snow was strong and steady overnight and all day Saturday. This was the huge mound pushed into one corner of a parking lot in Riverhead. Nassau and Suffolk counties were among the harder hit parts of the state.
It's tough to see if you're pulling out of your driveway trying to get a head start just to get out. Plows are coming down and we can't see out of our windows that great. So we have guys in the truck there watching out the windows on the side.
With temperatures in the teens, New York Governor Kathy Hochul warned the situation could become life-threatening.
When the weather is this cold, this is where the dangerousness sets in. You cannot have people in their homes without heat for any length of time.
The storm's immense reach can be seen on satellite images from space. FlightAware says most flights into and out of airports serving New York, Boston, and Philadelphia were canceled Saturday. Despite the hardships, for many, the weather meant just one thing: fun. Wendy Gillette, CBS News, Riverhead, New York.
The nor'easter hit parts of 10 states and some major population centers, including Philadelphia, New York, and Boston. Nothing like that in our forecast in the short term. Nick Kelly joining us.
Yeah, certainly with the way this weekend's been going, Chris. Granted, we had a cold front come through the other day, kept us in the 30s for highs, but today was a lot better. Even though we had mostly sunny skies today, the quiet start this morning meant lows dropping back to 20, but almost a 40-degree jump at dropping regional at the very least, with highs pushing near 58 degrees. We kept things pretty quiet throughout the day, but even with a little bit of cloud cover sneaking in from the north, we'll just call this some quick, partly cloudy skies with an otherwise quiet night unfolding. Here's the surface setup. A cold front to the north. It doesn't really work on through during the overnight, but it's going to be around throughout the morning and into tomorrow. That means we'll keep things cold again tonight with lows dropping back to 28. But despite a north breeze along that cold front, we're going to be back in the 50s again with partly to mostly sunny skies. In fact, highs will be back near 54. While we don't have a nor'easter coming our way anytime soon, Chris, so we do have a shot for winter weather certainly possible by the middle of the coming week. We'll break it all down here in a bit.
I am not looking forward to that, Nick. Thank you. Well, Carl Junction High School played host to well over 1,000 archery students from more than 50 schools today. This is their annual Pink Chute, which brings together archery students from across the region. Now, the reason it's the Pink Chute as they work to get Hope for You Breast Cancer Foundation involved and help raise money for them throughout the day. Now, for some of the competitors, including the coach, this tournament means a lot to them.
It means a lot for us. We have some archers on our team that have personally been impacted, so it's kind of personal. My grandmother was a fighter for years to breast cancer, and she passed away years ago. But it's just a cause that we really like to stand behind and get behind.
Now, this is the 6th year that CJ has hosted the tournament. The Cherokee County Area Beekeepers Club hosted a beginner beekeeping class today. Now, the class was hosted in partnership with the Cherokee County K-State Research and Extension Office. A number of topics were covered, including bee biology, equipment and supplies, as well as taking care of and acquiring those ever so important bees.
It's very important for the pollination of our flowers and our crops. It's very important to keep our bees around because that's what pollinates our food supply. 90% of our food is pollinated with the bees. So if we don't have the bees and other pollinators such as hummingbirds and the birds, we would be without a major food chain.
There was also a hands-on activity, assembling a hive to be given away at the end of the class. The First Baptist Church of Riverton hosted a soap making class today. Now, the class was open to all ladies ages 16 and up. In the class, the women learned how to, of course, make soap and the importance of homemade soap, which gives you control over the ingredients, color, and fragrance. It also allows for some creativity, giving you a unique soap that you can't find anywhere else.
Anything that you could do at home instead are the conversations that we want to have so that we have less reliability on the grocery store, because COVID really has shown us that accessibility is hard during these times, and two, the price is so high. So looking at anything we can do to be more economical and share our resources and grow together.
Now, each lady went home with 6 bars of soap and some recipes. The Spiva Center for the Arts held an entry-level photography class for about a dozen kids. Children 10 and younger were able to learn the basics of photography with some pretty hands-on experience. They were each given their own camera that they'll be able to take home for a week to continue to hone their skills. In March, they'll return to the center and have their own exhibit showing off their art.
Our goal is to get kids as young as possible to learn about art and how to have fun with art and not be intimidated by art. You know, everybody's an artist. It doesn't matter whether somebody else thinks your work is good or not. It's what you like and you having fun doing it.
Now, Susan says that they have multiple school buses with 50 or more students a day coming to Spiva, with kids getting to learn and create their own art. She also says, if you didn't know, there's going to be a new Spiva Center. It's being built right now. Should be finished by this fall, and that'll allow them to host even more events for people of all ages. Today in Seneca, Magnolia Mills Clothing Company helped host the Valentine's Vendors Bash. This event gives up-and-coming vendors an opportunity to get exposure and build potential clients. For a 6-hour period, vendors were able to set up shop and show off their products.
I just feel like in a small community like we're in this area, supporting small businesses is very important to your community. And they all really appreciate it.
Now, Marissa says that the small businesses and vendors are a strong community, and there's a family feeling to that. She also said that up-and-coming vendors should not only attend events like these, but they should also build a social media presence, because I think it's 21st century. It's the fastest way to get exposure. Susan Babcock works in insurance, but her passion is art. This evening at the Oswego Senior Center, Susan hosted a paint party. Now, they can be private, or like today's party, they can be public. And although the holiday season has passed, as Nick alluded to, winter is still upon us and unfortunately in full swing. So Susan and her students painted snowman decorations to put up on your door.
We have a very good community here. Everyone likes to get together. We do that. In even the local other towns close by, we like to get together and paint.
As Susan said, because of COVID, the gatherings have not been as large as they used to be, but she remains grateful that they're still able to meet. And she's got options for those that are Uncomfortable to meet in person, she provides kits with all the supplies and instructions to the project for the party. And we take this time now to honor one of our many four-state heroes. Corporal Glenn Nymeyer served in the Army during World War II, his hometown, Fort Scott. We're proud to recognize Glenn Nymeyer, tonight's four-state hero. And remember, to learn more about other heroes, or if you'd like to nominate one of your own at any time, just go to our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Coming up, new data appears to show the older you are, the more important a COVID vaccine is. New data appears to show the older you are, the more important a COVID vaccine is. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, people 65 and older were hospitalized with COVID at a rate 52 times higher than in December if they were not vaccinated and boosted. Unvaccinated people between 50 and 64 years old were hospitalized 46 times more often. The CDC only publishes data on risk by booster status for people 50 and older, but we know overall hospitalization rates were 16 times higher in unvaccinated adults. For adolescents, the rate was 8 times higher. A common and easy medical procedure can help you determine your risks with COVID. Researchers at University Hospital in Zurich, Switzerland, say in a study, blood tests could unlock information in knowing a person's risks for long COVID. The study looked at 500 patients starting in early 2020. They examined antibody levels and immune systems, which are supposed to rise to fight infections. The scientists say blood tests could help uncover whose systems are good or at risk when including other health factors. That study is published in the journal Nature Communications. 2 Long Island, New York nurses face forgery charges for allegedly making fake COVID-19 vaccination cards and profiting from it. 49-year-old Julie Devano and 41-year-old Marissa Uraro were arrested Thursday and arraigned Friday in Suffolk County District Court. Devano is owner and operator of Wild Child Pediatric Healthcare, with Uraro as an employee. District Attorney says the pair allegedly forged cards to show vaccine doses were given when they weren't. False information was then allegedly entered into a state health database. Prosecutors say searches of Devano's home uncovered a ledger detailing profits of more than $1.5 million, along with what you see there, $900,000 in cash. Devano and Uraro are due back in court on February the 8th. A program that could relieve knee pain and which foods may help Parkinson's patients live longer. Laura Podesta has some of the week's top health stories.
People with Parkinson's disease may live longer if they eat a diet high in flavonoids. A study at Penn State University found patients who consume more apples, berries, orange juice, and red wine may have a lower chance of dying. Flavonoids are compounds found in plants that may have a protective effect on the brain. Doctors at the University of Pittsburgh say they've developed a new way to treat a painful foot condition known as plantar fasciitis. The technique, tested on a very small group, involved injecting a patient's own fat into the sole of their foot to ultimately help them resume sports and other activities within months. And 1 in 5 people experience long-term pain after knee replacement surgery. But a study in the UK finds patients who follow a treatment plan can reduce the severity of their pain and how much it interferes with their lives. The program includes an hour-long clinic after 3 months and phone calls for a year to determine whether further treatment is needed. Those are some of the week's top health stories. Laura Podesta, CBS News, New York.
Later on the KOAM News at 10, there's a new millionaire in the United States.
In the meantime, we're hitting the jackpot by keeping things quiet for the next few days, but winter is set to make a big comeback next week. Forecast up next. It was nice that we kept things quiet once again for today, but I think we're also thankful for a bump in the thermostat, at least up on the thermostat, considering we had a cold front pass on through the other day. That's what kept us primarily in the 30s during the day, in fact, mid-30s with these numbers on the 36-hour trend of Joplin Regional Airport. But after a downright cold start near 20, we actually jumped almost 40 degrees in Joplin today, especially at the airport with a high of 58 this afternoon. We're still looking quiet from 7th and Rangeline with this last shot from the east side of the city. It's those quiet skies that got us out of the lower 20s this morning into the mid to upper 50s on the Missouri side, 58 in downtown Joplin, and even some 60s on the board and in the western half of the viewing area. Those were nice numbers to see. And we're going to see numbers back on the chilly side, but above normal again for tomorrow. But we just got to get past another cold night. You can see how during the top of the hour we had temperatures primarily back in the 30s, but I don't think we're done dropping off just yet, because during the day we had a breeze at about 10 to 20 miles per hour, primarily a bit out of the west and maybe northwest at times, but we've lightened up on that breeze this evening. And as long as that stays the case, with generally quiet skies overnight, maybe a little cloud cover coming our way too, that will not stop us from dropping back into the upper 20s to start your Sunday morning out, but thankfully nothing underneath the clouds, so we're definitely quiet for tonight. Here's the setup at the surface. A cold front is going to just hang around the region as we head into tomorrow. That's going to bump the thermostat down just a little bit, but we'll still be in the 50s for tomorrow because of primarily this upper level ridge pushing the jet stream just to the northeast. This is what will keep us in the 60s for Monday before we see these lows. Upper lows coming out of the Pacific and the Gulf of Alaska. That's going to really come into play by the time we hit the middle of next week. In the meantime, though, we'll just see a little bit of cloud cover work on through. But that doesn't change the fact that it's going to be cold no matter where you are. Upper 20s to near 30 for overnight lows. In fact, I think Joplin will still drop back near 28 to start the morning out. But that breeze out of the north stays light throughout the day. Certainly at 5 miles per hour once we get into the afternoon. Maybe a little bit of afternoon, partly sunny skies, but in general, we'll keep things quiet with 54 for Joplin tomorrow afternoon. But in general, everyone's back in the 50s, primarily mid-50s across much of the region. So those will be nice numbers to see, because sticking with Doug's patterns, going to get active again with winter setting up a big comeback. We've got one wave in the upper levels passing to our south. We're on the warm side of the jet. That means partly sunny skies and 60s for our Monday. We better savor those 60s, because as we head into Tuesday, we'll drop back into the 50s before these upper level lows push the next storm system our way. Rain chances will start us out Tuesday. Then as the colder air really filters in, a wintry mix of freezing rain, sleet, and snow for Wednesday. Snow chances Thursday, and then we'll clear up by Friday with real Arctic air working back in. Now, about the midweek storm system, it's still too early to say for sure who will get how much of what. We're still working out those details, but with the way the setup's looking right now, the way it's been for the past couple of days, as a matter of fact, let's keep on planning for rain chances Tuesday, wintry weather for Wednesday and Thursday, and unfortunately, we're only in the 7-day forecast, an Arctic blast by the end of the week. So we'll go from 54 tomorrow to 63 Monday, 54 Tuesday, 20 is the best we can do for Wednesday and Thursday. We'll drop to 2 Friday morning, push a high of 24, but thankfully we'll be back in the 30s on Saturday, Chris. I just had one look over there and I could tell you want me to come up with a better forecast.
I really need you to. I think the rest, I mean, we like the snow, but man, come on, why can't it snow on a weekend when the kids aren't in school? Work on that.
We've got a few days. We'll see what we can do.
All right. Thank you so much. Turning to sports, Missouri Southern basketball, really fun to watch right now.
And RJ Smith is one of the guys that make it so fun. He's back tonight. He hasn't played since November. Plus, the women are on a 6-game winning streak. Southern hosts Northeastern State. We've got those highlights next. The Missouri Southern women have won their last 6 games. That's the longest active win streak in the MIAA. Southern has a chance to extend that streak even further today against Northeastern State. In the first, Lacey Stokes straight to work, gets the basket for 2. Then Lane Skiles from the corner knocks down the 3. She finishes with 8 points and 7 rebounds. Riverhawks now go on a little run. Ashton Hackler for 3. Ties the game at 17. Later in the third, Caitlin Honeycutt turns it on in the second half, gets the layup here. And back to Stokes, able to separate and hit her shot. Stokes leads the way with 20 points, her 6th game with 20 or more this season. She also had 7 assists. This one here, she finds Honeycutt in quick transition. Honeycutt adds 13 and 7. It's close, but Missouri Southern gets the job done 55-47.
We're a team that really doesn't give up. You know, we kind of push each other because we all know we're better. You know, in games like that, you either play up or you play down to your opponent's level. And I felt like we played down a little bit, but, you know, we know we're better than that. And in the locker room, you know, we regrouped, we talked, and we said, you know, we're just going to have to execute what we can in order to push through and win this. those plays are huge, you know, the extra effort plays. You know, in the end, when games are close like that, it's the team that gives the most effort. And I feel like, you know, towards the end of that game, that's what we stepped up and did in order to pull off that win.
The men aim to sweep the season series against the Riverhawks. Last meeting, the Lions won a 1-point game. Opening minutes, Winston Desiso hits the corner 3. Later, Avery Taggart spins, lays it in, 15 points for him. Then it's Stan Scott. He hits the jumper. He goes off again, 21 points, 14 rebounds. Right before half, been waiting for this RJ Smith dunk. He is back, first game since November. He gets a standing ovation tonight. And coming out of the break, Christian Bundy banks it in off the glass. And then it's his turn to show off a little bit. Two-handed jam here, 13 points. Really fun game. Missouri Southern wins their third straight, 77-66.
It's good to get RJ back out on the floor, and I thought he gave us a lot of energy. But you know, especially these last 3 games, our mindset has just changed as far as how we're going to guard. We need all the confidence that we can get. And I told our guys after the game, if you will guard and play hard like you have the last 3 games, you're going to give yourselves a chance anytime or every time you step on the floor, no matter who you're playing.
The Pitt State women are coming off a buzzer beater win earlier this week. They're 9-2 at home with another chance this afternoon. Pitt State goes to double overtime with Rogers State. The Hillcats come out on top though, 83-82. Jamie Jackson, on fire lately, leads the Gorillas with 21 points and 7 assists. Tristan Gegg, Julia Johnson, and Karenna Gerber all finish in double digits as well. In the men's game, Pitt State snaps a 6-game skid with an 88-79 win over Rogers State. Quentin Hardrick and Ike Moore both dropped 15 points, and that's a career best for Moore. A big top 15 matchup at Allen Fieldhouse today, Kansas hosting Kentucky. Now the Jayhawks perfect at home this season. That ends tonight. Kansas gets upset big time, 80-62. The Jayhawks leading scorer Ochai Agbaji, he averages 21.3 points per game, was held to 13 in this one tonight. We're back right after this.
There's a new multi-million-dollar winner in the U.S. Someone is holding the winning Mega Millions jackpot ticket after Friday night's drawing. It's worth an estimated $426 million before taxes, or nearly $293 million with the cash option. The winning ticket was sold in Woodland Hills, California. The winning numbers are the white balls 3, 16, 25, 44, and 55, along with the gold mega ball at 13. Jackpot has been growing since the big prize was last won in October. Mega Millions resets to a jackpot of $20 million, just a mere $20 million for its Tuesday drawing next week. And I don't know, I mean, $293 million cash option. I'm all right with the cash option off a $20 million ticket, you know?
Not too shabby.
Yeah, especially if you can score me one of those, like a lottery drawing machines.
I just want that. You're right. Yeah. I mean, I remember watching the lotto on TV. That was like my favorite program of the night, was watching the nightly lotto drawing. Danny has never seen this.
I don't know what
we may not look it, but we're a bit older than she is.
Well, before Missouri Lottery went to like a digital drawing system, for example, they would have those big lottery drawing machines that would just spin around. That would just keep me amused for a long time.
Here, can you guys show that video again real quick?
If it's possible.
There's so many great people in the back that see one of these things. It's this big machine that spins around with those little balls inside, and then it just they do a thing and they come out. And that was like the most exciting thing to watch on TV. Was just a little
well,
thing.
At least Chris and I was excited.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Something that's not so exciting, unfortunately, Nick Kelly's forecast.
Yeah, at least for the next few days we're looking good. Mid-50s tomorrow, 63 Monday, but then sticking with Doug's pattern, we got a storm system to watch with rain chances Tuesday and wintry weather aplenty once the temperatures start to drop.
All right, thank you so much. That is our time for now. We'll see you back here tomorrow night. Thanks for making us part of your night.